Okay, everyone, good evening. Welcome, and I thank you for taking the time this evening to come to this presentation on the Spanish Department meeting for DMS. In the first slide, you should see below my email address. And then above my email address is Kelly Barone or Senora Barone. She is the Spanish Department head. I'm sorry, she's the department head as well as a Spanish teacher in the language program. I'm going to begin with our path to proficiency for our students who are learning Spanish as a second language. In the path to proficiency, we utilize three modalities: presentational, interpersonal, and interpretive. And we use those different forms to do summative and formative assessments, as well as enrichment and cultural activities. I want to begin with the novice, which if you look to the right of the slide at the bottom where it says ACTFL, which stands for American Council for Teaching Foreign Languages, you have novice low, novice mid, and novice high. Spanish 1 language learners start at novice low. And as you matriculate through each level, you get to novice high, then to intermediate, advanced, and all the way to distinguished. Depending on where you begin your journey, whether that's 7th grade, 8th grade, or 9th grade at level 1, 2, or 3, that can dictate where you will be by the time you're done with that program. Now, when it comes to the intermediate levels, intermediate low, mid, and high, that structure can change because at the high school, we have semester scheduling, which means there are opportunities for students to take a language in a full year with 2 levels. So for example, I have several students who are taking Spanish all year, level 2 and level 3. Some students may take a gap. So they may take level 2 freshman year and then sophomore year take level 3. So that may change whether or not you enter at intermediate low or complete at the level of intermediate low by the time you're done with level 3. And as you matriculate on with the language learning and you take the more advanced levels, we have levels 4, 5, and 6 and beyond. You have your advanced low to high. As far as superior and distinguished, typically those levels are achieved with enrichment activities, and you can usually have that baseline done through an AP test or at a placement test when you, as the student, apply for college and are placed in a certain level language course. You would take a placement test. And speaking of placement tests, there are often times where a student may transfer into the district, and if they had not had a language prior to coming to the district, or perhaps, for example, I have a student who was taking an advanced level 2 course at Shadyside Academy. So when she transferred to this district, the material for level 3 that was covered was material that she had mostly mastered. So she took the placement test to matriculate to level 4. There are other opportunities for students to enrich their language learning proficiency. We have the Spanish Club, Spanish Honor Society, and the Global Scholars Program. And these programs are offered all year. When we have our class structure, normally they start with a warm-up activity, which can review activities that have been previously learned, or it can be new material such as vocabulary, a proverb, a new verb, idiomatic expressions, or applicable language expressions like where's the bathroom or where is, insert location. Then we review the previous learned material from the day before or however long we've been reviewing, plus any new material that is added on, and then practice. And like I mentioned in previous slides, we have our 3 modalities: interpersonal, interpretive, and presentational. We also have enrichment activities. In the next slide, I'll talk about some specific materials that we use. But we have books, music videos, movies, short films, documentaries, and hands-on activities that can be utilized for enrichment purposes. And of course, we have our assessments, which include speaking, listening, reading, and writing tests. The grades that we use, as you see on the left side, we have our scale. And then to the right, we have the type of items, which include tests, quizzes, homework, class activities. And then for the semester grade components, the percentage is broken down for the first 9 weeks and the second 9 weeks of the semester. And we also include a final project and exam. This slide, this talks about, if you look at all the pictures, the different materials that we request that students utilize. Now, with the hybrid virtual model, we require technological devices. However, there are students that who request or may need to utilize the traditional forms, which is paper and pencil. And that's completely acceptable, especially when we're in class, when sometimes it is easier to write your answer as opposed to typing your answer. The textbooks that we use for levels 1 through 3 are on the left. We use the textbook Españols by Santillana. Level 4, that's the fourth book, the Imagina. And then on the far right, we have Abriendo Paso, which is what we use for our AP Level 5 textbook. The enrichment activities and books that we use, Pobre Ana is an example of one. We use that with our lower level learners because it reinforces vocabulary and grammar structures that you learn in your foundational Spanish courses, which is Spanish 1 and 2. Mi Vida Loca, similarly to the book, this is a digital and virtual version of enrichment material where students can experience traveling abroad in first person narrative, and they go with this person. If you see in the picture, they go with her throughout Spain, shopping, ordering food, visiting friends, making new friends, and utilizing the language both with grammar, vocabulary, and various cultural components. There also is a live language assistant that is used as a pocket dictionary that helps the student navigate the language. And at the end of each episode of Mi Vida Loca, I think there's about 22 episodes, there are different activities, worksheets, and games that the students can use to practice what they learned in each episode. And then I close with you a quote from Nelson Mandela. If you talk to a man in the language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. I thank you very much for attending this presentation. Again, if you have any questions, my email is in the chat entered on the right side of the screen. Thank you very much, and all have a wonderful evening.